Okay, looks like I'm live. Um, okay, my name is Mark. I don't really know why I'm making this, but I just kind of feel compelled to do something. So I opened the camera on my computer and I'm just recording. I know it's terrible quality. I don't have any equipment to do this, but I just figured I'd do something. Um, so why am I recording something and posting it? I just kind of feel like I need to use something as a mirror to be able to talk through things and be able to look back and analyze it. And also, I think that maybe other people might be able to relate to this or be interested for their own reasons. And so I figure why not just do this and put it online, either as a video or a podcast or something, and try to do something regularly like this where I talk about something and just kind of see where it goes. Um, so, quickly to kind of talk about my background, I am 26. I um, have kind of been dealing with chronic health issues for about 8 years. I was 18 when I first got sick. Um, I was in college at the time, my freshman year, and was loving it. Not for the right reasons, but was enjoying kind of being around all these new, interesting people and making new friends and being very social and all the fun parts of college. Um, I didn't take it too seriously academically, which I'm not sure is super uncommon for an 18-year-old in a new social environment like that. Um, but anyway, I got sick in October of my freshman year. Things just fell apart for a long time. Um, and by the summer, after I barely squeaked by my freshman year, I failed some of my classes, had to get extensions on others because of a host of different health problems. In the beginning, it manifested as anxiety, intense anxiety and depression, where I just wouldn't leave my bed for days at a time because I had so much anxiety. I wouldn't go to class. I wouldn't do my work assignments and hand them in. Even if I did them, I didn't hand them in sometimes. Um, and that kind of spiraled and became progressively worse and worse. Summer after that year was really difficult, kind of having to come clean to my parents about what my first year was like, because they weren't really in the know about what was going on. I mean, they knew I was having problems, but they didn't know that it was as severe as it was, with school at least. And then I went back my sophomore year after seeing some doctors and not really getting any information. I went back, and the beginning of my sophomore year was hell. I That's when I really started having physical problems, passing out almost daily, vomiting all the time, just feeling sick constantly, like every day. And it got to a point with that on top of the mental health problems I've been having, I just had to leave. And it was around Thanksgiving, mid to end November, my sophomore year. I had enough and I decided to leave, take medical leave, and come home. And um, from that point on, I basically have lived in my parents' house, not been able to work. At my worst, things were really, really, really bad. Being bedbound for months at a time, on and off, losing my ability to walk, not being able to talk sometimes. Um, and I found out eventually, after seeing many, many doctors who told me that I was crazy, that I had Lyme disease and co-infections. And so that was, I had heard about it, but I didn't really know anything about it, and started down a path of just so many different types of treatment. And some of them worked, a lot of them didn't. A lot of them made me more sick than I was before. And yeah, it just kind of spiraled out of control. And eventually, I, with the help of some doctors, some other doctors, was able to try to go back to school in 2015. So in January 2015, I tried going to a different school closer to home, and that lasted about 2 months, 2 months, and completely fell apart again. My health deteriorated, and from 2015 until now, basically rarely leave my home. Um, Now, in the last year, things have gotten things have been for the last 2 years. Things have been improving slowly, where I have you know considerable improvement, and then and then I kind of collapse again, and that continues on like an upward trajectory. So I'm over the long run, I've improved, but in the moment, it's this seesaw effect of, oh, I'm feeling better, not great, but better, and then that falls down, and it's like this wave. Um, so anyway, that's kind of where I am now. I'm a lot better than I was at my worst. I'm able to leave the house. I'm able to do all these things that before couldn't even imagine doing. And um, I'm at a new point of struggling where I started taking classes at an online university a year and a half ago, I think a year and a half ago. And I've been able to complete some courses, but my health will deteriorate, and then kind of I stop for a little bit, and eventually I pick it back up. Or right now, I stopped the beginning of this year. In December 2017, I got the flu really bad, and it set me back tremendously. And so I dropped, and since then I haven't taken any classes. And I'm at this kind of point in my life where I'm getting well enough that I'm starting to entertain the idea of like doing things that normal adults do. Um, and it's this weird transitional period where my health is in the back of my mind constantly because I don't want to do anything that will jeopardize my progress in the long run. But at the same time, I have to be able to step up and like be a 26-year-old man and do things. I need to be able to have an income at some point, even if it's not a steady income, just to do things to make money. I'm finding that to be difficult, and I'm finding not only is it difficult to do that, it's difficult for me to understand why that's difficult. Um, Growing up, I was very undisciplined. I really, and when it came to school, I really wasn't the best student, not because I wasn't smart enough to be, but because I didn't do the work I was supposed to do. I prioritized being social and like things that I enjoyed doing, my personal hobbies, over spending time doing homework and studying. So I did well enough. I mean, I did pretty well in high school, but compared to my peers and compared to my potential, I really didn't. And so that behavior I'm finding now is making it like compounds the difficulty of making this transition where I can feel my old behavior patterns kind of working synergistically my, uh, what am I going to say? How would I say this? They're working synergistically with my health issues and my thoughts about my health, to kind of create this circular effect where they kind of just it creates this illusion of a barrier. Now I know that it's just an illusion. I know it's not real, and that I create the success that I want, and no one can stop me from doing that except for myself. I'm acutely aware of that, but for some reason, it's just it's just not natural for me, and that's not an excuse because I have to overcome that if I'm going to be the complete person that I want to be, right? I understand that. And I guess that's kind of what sparked me to make this video or this recording in the first place is like, I know that I need to take the next step like I have in the past when it came to deciding to take classes online and taking on the stress of that. I know this is just another step in the overall progression. And like those steps in the past, there was resistance internally. I resisted that change. And I overcame that and did those things that I need to do. And I feel like this is probably the same thing that's going to happen. But I just feel like in this moment, I needed to kind of, I don't know, talk it out with myself and just kind of figure out what is going on. And I also figured that recording this is just kind of doing something positive and putting something out there because you just don't know what's going to stick. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm at a point in my life where I'm teetering between regaining independence to a degree and being a sick person. And I don't identify with being a sick person. I don't mean it like that. I don't mean that I feel like a sick person. I mean that my health is what takes a majority or all of my energy. That my focus is predominantly on my health, and that when I'm not focusing on my health, I'm doing things to enjoy that time and not necessarily things that are the most productive to be doing. Whether it's listening to podcasts or watching YouTube videos or watching sports or anything like that. Absorbing entertainment rather than doing things that are productive. And I think that I might be doing that just because in the past, everything was torture. Like every minute was suffering. And so I think I kind of got in the habit of like trying to not numb, but in a weird way in my mind, it's like taking advantage of that, kind of using things that bring me joy or make me laugh and filling that space in between my health with like positive type things, like entertainment wise, I guess, whether it's music or podcasts or videos or whatever, right? And I became disciplined with my health after years of basically being a husk of a human being and having my parents drive my health. And it's basically been since summer 2015, so probably about almost 3 years to the day, that I decided that I was going to be in charge of my health care when it came to making decisions and working with doctors. And that had a profound impact on my progression, right? And I know that exact same thing will happen when I do something. It's just this weird in-between feeling where I'm kind of like in limbo and I have this like conflicting feelings where I don't want my health to drive my behavior, but I also need to be aware that my behavior can impact my health. And being able to kind of wrestle with those two counterbalancing things can be kind of difficult to maneuver, and just it can kind of be paralyzing. And I think recognizing that is important. But after recognizing it, you have to take action and do something and not be paralyzed. And so, like I said in the beginning, I guess that's why I'm doing this. I just feel like I have to do something, and doing this to me counts as something. And yeah, I don't know. I kind of don't know how this is going to work moving forward. I don't know if I'm going to try to kind of focus on something, or if this is just going to kind of be me talking about whatever I feel like talking about, or being introspective, or trying to work through my own crap that I have to work through to kind of become the person that I know I can be. Um, but yeah, so thanks for watching or listening. I appreciate it. And if, I don't know, I guess I'll be back and doing this again at some point in the near future. Yeah. So thank you very much for watching, and I will see you soon.